Hello, everyone, and welcome into CrushTheStreet.com. I got a first-time guest on the show today. His name is Jim Gowans. He's the CEO and president of Arizona Mining, a company with a great story sitting on a monster-sized deposit of zinc. And it's a junior company. And what's interesting is Jim Gowans was the former co-president of the largest gold producer in the world, Barrick Gold, and left the company and became the CEO of Arizona Mining. So we're going to talk about that today. He's been a part of building the largest zinc mine in the world, Red Dog. His roots go very, very deep in the resource sector. And we're going to discuss metals today with really one of the few people who can has truly the qualifications to comment on it. So, Jim Gowans, thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. Jim, in 2005, I was looking at this. The HUI was at levels that we are seeing today, a metric for the gold miners here. And the only difference was that gold was only around $400, and today gold is at $1,300, and we're seeing these miners at the same level. So in your opinion, is this just the start of what is yet to come for resource stocks and gold for that matter?
Yeah, and I would tend to, just to preface that, I would also tend to separate I call the base metal type resource stocks as to the gold. I think the gold equities and gold and silver equities tend because they have a bit more complexity to them because of the commodity they produce, gold and silver, and gold more is sometimes a commodity and sometimes acts like a currency. And I think that's where you start to see things happening now, where back in 2005 or from 2002 to 5, you saw a lot of companies unwinding their hedge positions and saw it start to take off. And then as the things stabilized, then you saw the world recession start to hit. But I think it's positioned to go back up again. I would argue that gold is going to start moving up again. I know everybody's looking at see what Yellen's going to do on Friday, but you might see a little bit correction. You certainly saw some correction in the stock market yesterday to the resource sector, but I think it's more of a kind of a correction or profit taking. I think you're going to see, particularly the gold, is going to continue to rise, just because I think the world economic situation is such that it can't do anything but.
Yeah, well,
I think you see the same thing happening with the resources now, because our when you look at the base metals, whether it's lead, zinc, copper, they're all down, and nickel, they're all down at pretty low levels relative to what they historically have been. And I think you're going to start to see that going up. There hasn't been the exploration investment, and at the end of the day, you still have to use them to develop countries. So I think that bodes well for the resources.
Yeah, well, let's touch on that here for a little bit, and I want to ask you about the fundamentals driving higher resource prices here in 2016. And maybe there's a separation in your opinion, and again you have a unique perspective on this because of your background, but would you attribute the moves we are seeing in the resource sector to fear or fundamental based moves with the flow of capital that is entering the sector?
I would say that the flow of capital coming in is actually it's a couple of things. One is I think people look at the general economic condition, and I think when you see some of the traditional areas like bonds, right now you actually pay to keep money in bonds. There's negative interest rates, which in my view is ridiculous. And so people that are starting to invest are saying, hey, look, since resources have been at the bottom of their cycle, it's a far safer bet for me to put money into the equities, resource equities, than it is to continue to do something where I actually have to pay to keep money in a bond. And I think that's a fundamental challenge right now in the world economic. It just tells you what the state of the economy is for the global nature, and I think that's probably causing a lot of the flow of capital coming into the resource industry.
Jim, let's get into the base metals here. Zinc has actually been quite the outperformer in 2016, and much of that has to do with what we've seen as a result of the brutality of the bear market taking its toll on these metals, and mines shutting down, including Lachine and Century Mine, which was Australia's largest mine, and Glencore curtailments. And if you would, please give us the background as to why zinc is actually up an astounding 50% since the start of this year.
You're right. It's up about 50%, and I don't think that's surprising at all. I mean, that's one of the things that interested me to get involved in this instead of retiring, because it gave me an opportunity to get back to my roots in the lead zinc business, where I was for almost 20 years. And I think the fundamentals of zinc are pretty solid right now. There's major shutdowns. I mean, Century and Lachine ran out of ore, and so that took off almost 750,000 tons of concentrate on annual production wise, and then you saw severe curtailment of some of the lower higher cost higher cost mines. With people like Glencore cutting back. And also in China is actually where they produce about half of the zinc. They actually started shutting down some of the smaller operations that are environmentally causing lots of damage and have very, very poor safety records. So there, in zinc more than any other base metal, you have this fundamental shortage being created by a combination of events. One from major mines running out of ore to curtailment in other areas, and so I think that's where you're going to see it. And there hasn't been a lot of investment in exploration for zinc for quite a long time, and so I think it's going to create a shortage of concentrates. You can see that in the treatment charges of the smelters and refineries around the world. They've dropped in half. So even if the price of zinc doesn't go up, even if it stays at $1.05, which I think it's going to continue to climb, zinc concentrate producers are in a pretty good way right now because their treatment charges, the price has gone up and their treatment charges have gone down by half. So it's a good time to invest in the zinc market for sure. And the fundamentals are there. Zinc is actually probably the most unique of the base metals. You look at lead or copper, the price goes too high on them. And aluminum is another case where you get a lot of recyclability, where people bring back and they melt down the wires, or they take the lead batteries and start recycling. But the nature of zinc is the fact that 60% of zinc metal goes to galvanizing. So it either goes on a coating of for structural steel for buildings, which stays and then protects it from rusting, or onto the automobile industry. And now the amount of zinc per car has continued to climb as people expect the cars to last longer, and you can't recycle that. 60%. That's basically goes in a form that it's processed and gone off the market. So I think the combination of what zinc is used for and where we are in the world, it's making some strong fundamentals.
Jim, you being the co-president of Barrick and then leaving the largest gold producer in the world to head up Arizona mining, I can only imagine that you've seen something special with this company to make that move, and I want you to share with us what that was.
Yeah, it was. I was retiring from Barrick and decided to move out west into Vancouver. British Columbia is where I came from. I grew up I was born in a lead zinc smelter town and grew up in one of the largest lead zinc mines in the world, at the Sullivan mine in Kimberley. So I was coming back with his family, and got a call out of the blue from Richard Wark. How would you like to get involved in this? And I said, well, at my stage of the career, I'm only interested in something where I think I can add a lot of value, and also something that's exciting to do. And I said, give me a ticket. I'll go down to Arizona and take a look at what you have. And if it looks intriguing or interesting, then I'll get involved. And that's what happened. I went down. I started to look at the core when going over with Don Taylor, our COO, and I went, "Holy smokes! This may give me the opportunity to build my lucky seventh mine in my career and get back to the roots." It's a very exciting deposit. It's going to be a major world-class deposit, zinc. And I said I'd just like to be involved, and that's how it all started. And as we've been drilling and continue to drill our program this year, all that's done is just reinforce my initial view on this project.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Richard Wark, the chairman of Arizona Mining, and he pointed out to me that the company is really, one of the only juniors with a project of this magnitude in their hands that isn't held by a major. And I want you to discuss, how does the Taylor deposit stack up against other zinc projects around the world?
I think probably, the resource that we published in February or thereabouts, at about 39, or call it 40 million tons to round off to the nearest big number. It is probably in the top 20 deposits. Everything above that is owned by a major, a Teck or MMG or Glencore or Vedanta. So, and our goal is to try and increase that resource, and obviously as we've released the drilling results, we've been having some pretty positive results. We're continuing to move towards that objective of trying to double that up. So it's already within the top 20, and anything that we do here on in is just going to add to that. And some of those big mines that were the top 20 in the world have all shut down. Sullivan has gone down, Pine Point is down, Century's down, and you're seeing the Machine is down. So you're seeing some of these big operations are all having to shut down because they're running out of ore. And so I think this is only going to bode well for Arizona mining as a world-class zinc deposit in the future.
Jim, is there anything else that early shareholders can look forward to, if they did want to partner up with Arizona Mining, what they have to look forward to down the line here?
Yeah, I think we're continuing to do what I call two objectives in our drilling program this year. One is to extend the resource across into the big new private patented lands called the Trench property, which we obtained at the start of the year in January, and also to expand the existing resource and to bring up the quality of the existing resource from an inferred to a measured and indicated, so that we can do an economic evaluation on that. And our goal is to, before the end of Q1 of 2017, is to put out a PEA, or preliminary economic assessment, to establish the economic value of the deposit we have to date, and then to push for a feasibility study by the end of next year. So that's our short-term goals, and we're executing on those as we speak.
And what you're talking about is about literally doubling your resource. 80 to 100 tons. Give our listeners an idea of where that would put the Taylor deposit. How would that stack Arizona Mining, the project, compared to all the other projects around the world? As it is, it's in the top 20.
Well, even historically, if you have 100 million tons of combined lead zinc, then that basically puts you in the top half a dozen deposits in the world for lead zinc. The biggest one being Broken Hill in Australia, and then you have McArthur River and Sullivan Mine and some of the big famous ones like that. And so we would definitely be up in probably about the top 6 or 7, I think, depending on what we end up with as a resource. So yeah, pretty significant.
Well, that is really significant and very unique, obviously, to see this.
It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. I mean, I was a young engineer when I did the feasibility study for Polaris Mine, which is the world's most northerly base metal, and that was a lead zinc property. And that at the time was about the 11th largest, and we've already surpassed that in terms of tonnage and pounds of metal. And Red Dog Mine, of course, which was is up in the top 3. I think it's number 2 behind Rampura in India, and I think that's so we would be going up into that area, and to be able to have the opportunity to do one more world-class mine of this size is pretty exciting, I have to admit.
Jim, as a resource entrepreneur, someone who's just been very successful in business, I just want to ask you if you would share any words of wisdom with our audience who, are interested in, making money, protecting their wealth, and just moving forward, with a better life. Any words of wisdom you'd like to share?
I think certainly I'm very interested in making Arizona a significant investment opportunity for investors. That's been our goal, and I think that will continue to be our goal as we push towards a feasibility study. And I think the fundamentals of our zinc are good. You can see that in all the other zinc shares. So, and I think the resource sector, I think you're going to see a lot of investment in the resource sector because the world continues to need the metals and to produce and develop, and I think that's where we are. And I've lived in Africa and Indonesia and been to all the continents except Antarctica, and I feel pretty strongly that as the world develops, there's going to be that continued increase in demand for our products.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I would have never have thought I'd be on the phone speaking with the former president of Barrick Gold. So it was an absolute privilege speaking with you today and talking with you about your next venture here. So, and what a time to be talking about it while precious metals and resource stocks are just in the early stages of this bull market, I should say. If people want to learn more about Arizona mining, please share how they can learn more and how they can partner with the company if they so choose to do.
Oh, sure. There's lots of places where they can learn more about it. I mean, obviously the quickest way is to go to our website. We have a website, and we've put an investor relations presentation there, and you get a summary of what's you can see this all the latest information, the press releases. And the other thing is, I think as an investor, you're going to be judicious. You need to find out what other people think, and so we've had analysts come down and review our project. Currently, it's RBC, the Royal Bank of Canada, National Bank of Canada, the Scotiabank, have all had analysts come down and do a thorough review of the project. And so you can go into their websites or talk to somebody in their resource investment sector, and they will be able to give you that information. It's freely available for them and their clients. And next week, I'm going to be down in Arizona again with a whole other list of analysts, lots of other banks and investment organizations like Raymond James are keen to. They've been following our stock and our story, and they're coming down to see for themselves and to go through the numbers. And so you'll be able to pick up all their analysis and reports in due form as well. Probably in the next month or two after that. They usually take about a month to come out, but so there'll be lots of public information available on our stock. If you don't go to our website, you can get it from all the major Canadian banks and some of the other investment organizations.
Well, you heard it here first, everyone, about Arizona mining. Jim Gowans, CEO and President. Jim Gowans, thanks for coming on the show with us today and sharing with us your knowledge and just your new venture with us. It's greatly appreciated.
Thanks. thanks so much, Kenneth, and it's great to have people to show interest. I'd like everybody to be excited about this as I am.